Hey guys, this is Shay Jose, and today I'll be taking you through a little tutorial putting a track together, a progressive house track together in the style of Siona Records. I've recently just signed a 2-track EP to Siona Records, and if you don't know who they are, that's actually the label of Miss Monique, who's probably one of the best-selling progressive house artists around at the moment. So I'll give you a little bit of an insight into my production process. Also, this template you will be able to download it and use it for your own productions, including all the presets for, especially if you're in my Patreon program. This will be available to you. There'll be more details in the description, but with that, let's get into the video. All right, guys, so let's go through this project. First and foremost, I will just say that I actually recorded this session while I was making it. Unfortunately, I forgot to switch off my monitors, so the audio came through as if I was inside a bathroom with a lot of reverb, so it was unusable. So unfortunately, you're going to have to just sit with me here while I go through each of the elements of this particular project. Once again, you will be able to download this project for free if you're part of my Patreon program. The link will be down below, or you can follow along. The concepts can be used within Ableton or any other DAW for that matter. So without further ado, let's get started. In this particular track, I've actually decided to use 2 kicks. As you can see here, we've got 1 kick that's actually got more of the attack, while there's more of the body on the second kick. And what I've really done is just, and I've covered this in my other tutorial, so I won't go through it in too much detail, but essentially what I do is I like to use audio to view my kicks and bounce my kicks, and then amend them as required. We're busting the kicks out. Obviously, they're both set to mono. We're doing some little bit of EQ, a little bit of drum bass, and we are running them through a Neutron 3. Once again, I've covered this before in other tutorials, why I use Neutron to actually do compression on my kicks. The ability to actually compress different parts of the kick in here are really great. And really go check out Protoculture's tutorial on this, because it's a really is a game changer. So we've got the kick channel there. Give you a listen of that. Nothing too great. We got the kick filtered down at the start of the track there, but as it gets past the first 8 bars, we will see it. There you go. It actually the full kick and the thump comes through. So it's quite a punchy kick, sounding quite nice in there. So there wasn't a hell of a lot of processing done on it. Okay, let's move on. So now we'll move into the sub. I've separated the sub into its own channel here. This is just a lot easier for me to be able to control the differences in the sub and the I guess the mid to low sub, or the mid to low bass, where I tend to actually make it a little bit more stereo. So the sub always running in mono, a little bit of saturation there. We've EQ'd it to taste, a little bit of compression. We're running an auto filter as well across this, depending on how much of that sub signal we want to let through. And I'm just sidechaining this to the kick bus. So together they sound like this. So if you can't hear this, you might need to put on some headphones. I've divided the bass signal across to a little bit of a Moog bass sound on this particular bus channel, and then a lower octave bass as well. So and they're basically just bus together. Some auto filter, some drum bass, a little bit of OTT, and some sidechain compression, and a little bit of EQ as well. So they sound like this. And together with a kick and the sub, it's got a little bit of a groove going there. The one thing I will say about the style of progressive house from like labels such as Siona, Area Verde, Pillar, is they tend to fit more into kind of the dark, sort of deeper progressive house styles. Not so much the kind of EDM progressive house that people like Alesso and you know, some of those big room artists kind of do. It's always like a little bit darker. The synthesizers are a little bit darker. The melodies are a little bit darker, and they're very intricate in the way that the ARPs actually work with each other. You will find that in this project when you download it, we've got a few different ARP harmonies that actually work really well together, and it basically enriches the sound and the overall texture of the song as the track plays through. But moving on, we move on to the drum bass channel. We've got here some hats that we're running, some close-ups, some claps, etc., etc. Am I actually running any of the claps? No, I don't think I actually added any of these claps in here. I tend to use the same sort of template with the same sort of instruments, and then I swap things in and out. So what I've done here, I've actually given you a copy of one of my default templates with some of the default sounds that I use, and you will find these a lot in my productions. One little cool thing that you can do here as part of your, I guess, ear candy with your percussion, that you will actually hear a lot in my productions actually, and a lot in the productions of other artists in those labels, especially in melodic house and melodic techno, is they tend to use a vocoder to emphasize the white noise in particular sections of the song. So I'll give you a play and let you know how this sounds. So we've got a normal close hat in this particular channel. So there's just some 16s hats, nothing too special, nothing great. But what we're doing is I've actually taken a copy of these hats, and pretty much every 8 bars, I'm actually invoking the vocoder, the dry wet here, to give it a nice, I guess, shine to kind of emphasize the end of that bar. I'll let you hear it by itself, then I'll let you hear it in context of the rest of the percussion. So it doesn't sound too great with that, but when you play it with the drums, the entire drum channel, you will hear how much that actually emphasizes and gives that extra layer of ear candy. So that sounds really cool. I've actually added a little bit of overdrive as well there, just to give it a little bit more bite. Now, if we were to listen to that in the context of the song, let's have a quick listen. It just adds a little bit of flavor. I will probably do a video outlining some ways that you can actually use ear candy, some extra ear candy in your production. I've done one previously, but I might go a little bit more in depth into it. So if you want something like this, just leave a comment below in the comment section, and I'll try to get around to doing it maybe in the next couple of weeks. All right, so let's move on. We basically, not much on this. We're just rerouting everything to a bus channel. We've got an effects rack here. It's adding a little bit of reverb. So we're adding a little bit of reverb to the dry channel, just to basically give a little bit more space in that drums bus. So moving on, I'll just go over the ARP melodies that I've created here, and then we'll touch upon some of the other components. So we've got this main ARP that I created. I think I created this in Serum. Yep, it's just one of my patches, so this will come preloaded into the template. I've added just a little bit of sidechain compression, another audio rack to allow the delay to be sidechained to the dry signal. So if you don't know how to do that, you basically do Command J on Apple. This will group by channel, and then you just right click and say create chain. Add the effects that you want, put a compressor, and then sidechain the compressor back to the dry signal. This basically allows the wet signal to duck out when the dry signal is in play, and then the wet signal will come through once that dry signal has moved on. So I'll let you listen to what that sounds like. And you can hear there the tail of the delay tail really kicks in. One thing that I also tend to do, which I haven't seen many people actually do this, and like I said, there's no right rule about this. If it sounds good, do it. I tend to put a delay not only on an effects track there, but I also tend to run one on a return channel. And what I do is I just mess around with the automation of each one of them. And usually if you want to build up tension just before a drop, you can actually blend both of them to give a really cool sort of crystallizer effect that you can get from the crystallizer VST from Sound Toys. But it sounds extremely unique, so I'll let you hear it just before the drop so you can actually see the difference in how that sounds like. And to add some extra flavor, I've actually added this Easy Washout filter, which is just a bunch of reverb adding it just before the drop. So I'll let you hear how that sounds from here. So I think that's a really cool effect. You can play around with all sorts of things. This is just one way of actually, building up some tension in your synthesizers. All right, moving further down, we'll move on to the break where we have this other ARP sound or ARP melody that I've created. And this was just a serum patch as well. Nothing too crazy on this. It's really just in the processing. So we've got some hyperdimension, some distortion, delay, chorus compression, a little bit of delay, and some auto filter. So this one sounds like this. So that sounds pretty cool. So that's another ARP sound that we're running in there. And to emphasize this, we've also got a drone playing throughout the entire track. So, I just downloaded this. I think this is a splice sample from memory. And what I've done is I've just side changed it to the kick bus. I've rolled off some of the lower frequencies there with an auto filter. And I'm running this through a shimmer hybrid reverb. Which is a Ableton stock reverb that you can get as part of Max for Life. And a little bit of delay just to fill in some of that space. Further to this, we've got some other small ARPs that come in as part of a little bit more ear-candy, I guess, to keep the listener engaged. It's just a very simple pluck, nothing great. As you can see, I'm not even actually doing any EQing here. You will find this sound actually I use a lot in my productions. You will definitely hear it in some of my newer stuff that's coming out on Siona. I've got 2 tracks coming out, one called Prometheus and another one called Andromeda, which Monique has been playing quite a bit on her current tour. Moving further down, we've got another ARP sound down here. Once again, nothing too crazy. It's literally just a saw wave with a little bit of processing there. We've got some delay, some washout, and I've actually put a limiter on this because it actually does get quite loud. And this one sounds like this. So if you listen to the 3 of them together, you will see how much all these ARPs and the drone together, you'll see how much they actually complement each other in this particular drop. So let me just highlight everything and play everything here from the build up until the drop. So as you can hear there, there's the progression of how the arps actually fade in. It actually sits quite nicely with the melody of the entire track. We've got some pretty simple pads. There's just done with Serum in there. Some snares that we've done for taste. Some snare rolls and whatnot. And then the last thing is this brass stab that I've created. This is just basically a brass stab that actually gives a little bit more. It's like a top melody that sits on top of that drop. So it sounds like this. So it's just done with Serum. It's nothing crazy on this one either. So it's just some LFO tuning. And so what I'll do is I'll play everything together in the context of the track from start to finish. I'll let you hear it. And like I said before, once again, this will be available to download. What I've done is also, I haven't actually completed the second drop on this template. I really left it up to you guys, so you can twist, change, arrange, delete, add whatever you want in here. This just kind of gives you a little bit of a template to start off from if you kind of get stuck and need to kind of get out of the loop. So hopefully this will assist you, but without further ado, I'll just play the rest of this small template. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification icon because it will let you know when I upload a new video. Also, please go and join my Discord server. I really want to get more people in there where we can start building a community, swap ideas, swap music and discuss anything related to do with music. Lastly, I do also have my new track Pictures. That's how it's been doing quite well. Was climbing up the Beatport charts. I think got to number 32, which was great. Got my other track, No Air, that has just come out, a remix for it. And I've got my other track, The Stranger, coming out, I think, in 2 weeks. So keep a lookout for that. And if you're not following me, follow me on Spotify at Shay Jose, or on Instagram and Facebook at Shay Jose Official. Alright guys, until next time, I'll play this through and I'll see you then.